Have you ever felt like no matter how much you give, no matter how hard you try, love always seems to belong to everyone else but you? Someone might reach out with kindness, yet you pull back, whispering inside that you don't deserve it. Compliments feel uncomfortable, affection feels unsafe, and deep down, you wonder if people would stay if they saw all of who you are. This is a heavy feeling to carry the belief that you are somehow unworthy of love. It's not something you announce out loud, but it silently shapes the way you live, the way you connect, and the way you see yourself. In this video, we will walk through the hidden reasons why you might always feel undeserving of love. We will uncover how these beliefs are formed, how they continue to echo through your life, and how you can begin to break free from them. Each part will shine a light on one layer of the struggle, giving you a deeper understanding of where the pain comes from and what can be done to heal. Before we begin, a gentle reminder: this channel is a space for emotional healing, especially for women who have carried invisible wounds for far too long. Here your pain is seen, your silence is understood, and your healing matters. If you stay with me until the end of this video, you may find the one message that begins to shift how you see yourself and the love you deserve. Let's begin this journey together. The silent belief that you are not enough. At the core of feeling undeserving of love is a quiet belief that has followed you for years. This belief whispers that you are not enough, yet its echo can shape every corner of your life. This belief often begins early. Perhaps in childhood, love felt conditional. Affection was given when you achieved, when you obeyed, when you silenced your own needs. Slowly, you learned a dangerous lesson: love must be earned. You carried that lesson like an invisible weight into adulthood. Now, even when someone offers genuine care, your first instinct might be to question it. Instead of embracing affection, you wonder what you need to do to keep it. You try harder, give more, and bend yourself into shapes that don't belong to you, all in the hope that maybe, finally, you will be enough. But the truth is painful. No amount of perfection will silence that inner voice. The belief that you are not enough is like a shadow. The more you chase approval, the larger the shadow grows. And without awareness, it can become the silent architect of your loneliness. Recognizing this belief is the first step, because once you can name it, you can begin to see it for what it truly is. It is not a truth about you, but a story written long ago that no longer deserves to define your worth. The inheritance of old wounds. Sometimes the feeling of being unworthy of love does not even begin with you. It is something passed down, carried silently from one generation to the next. Families often transmit more than traditions. They pass on unspoken rules about affection, worth, and belonging. If you grew up in a home where love was scarce, distant, or inconsistent, you may have learned to see love as unreliable. Maybe you watched parents who struggled to express warmth, or caregivers who believed discipline was more important than tenderness. As a child, you absorbed these messages without words. Don't ask for too much. Don't expect to be comforted. Don't rely on anyone fully. These unspoken lessons grow roots in the heart. They form the belief that love is fragile, that it can disappear at any moment, or that it was never meant for you in the first place. Over time, you begin to confuse your family's limitations with your own value. Their inability to express love turns into your inner narrative. If even those closest to me couldn't love me fully, maybe I was never worthy to begin with. But here is the truth: these wounds do not belong to you. They are echoes of someone else's pain, inherited like an old scar. They were never a reflection of your worth. The challenge now is learning to separate their struggles from your identity, to see that what was missing in the past does not define what you are allowed to receive in the present. The weight of mistakes and regret. Another reason you may feel undeserving of love is the burden of your own past. Everyone has made choices they wish they could take back, spoken words they regret, or lived through moments that left scars. But when shame takes root, those mistakes stop being events and start becoming an identity. Instead of seeing your past as something you experienced, you begin to see it as proof of who you are. Shame whispers that your flaws, failures, and regrets are the whole truth about you. It convinces you that if anyone saw the real story, they would walk away. This is why love feels dangerous. To be loved is to be seen, and to be seen feels like exposure. If your heart is convinced that exposure will always lead to rejection, then withdrawing becomes safer. Better to carry loneliness than to risk being found unworthy again. Yet the tragedy is this: the very mistakes you fear are what make you human. They are not proof that you are unlovable. They are proof that you have lived, tried, failed, and survived. And in that survival lies resilience, depth, and the capacity for connection. Regret is heavy, but it does not have to define you. It can be a chapter in your story, not the ending. And when you begin to hold your past with compassion instead of condemnation, you open the door for love to meet you where you are, not where shame says you should be. The mirror of self-talk. The way you speak to yourself is like a mirror you look into every single day. If that mirror constantly reflects harshness, criticism, and rejection, it becomes nearly impossible to believe in the tenderness of others. Think about the words that run quietly through your mind. Lazy, unworthy, not good enough, unlovable. When repeated over and over, these words stop being thoughts. They turn into beliefs. Your brain, wired to trust repetition, begins to accept them as truth. And so, no matter how much love comes your way, it collides with a wall you've built inside. This self-talk doesn't just influence how you feel about yourself, it shapes how you behave in relationships. You might dismiss compliments, sabotage affection, or push people away before they get too close. Why? Because the mirror inside you does not match the kindness being offered. If you cannot see your own worth, you struggle to believe anyone else truly can. Changing the way you speak to yourself is not about shallow affirmations or pretending everything is perfect. It is about survival. It is about shifting from a mirror that distorts you into something smaller, harsher, and colder than reality to one that reflects the full truth of who you are. Flawed, yes, but still worthy, still lovable. The first step is noticing the voice. The second step is gently challenging it. Every time you replace cruelty with compassion, you begin polishing the mirror, and slowly, the reflection staring back at you becomes one you can trust, one that can finally accept the love waiting outside. Society's loud lies. Beyond the voice inside your head, there are voices all around you. Society speaks loudly, often drowning out your own truth. It sends constant messages about what makes someone worthy of love: appearance, success, popularity, youth, perfection. These messages are relentless. They tell you love is reserved for those who look a certain way, achieve certain milestones, or fit into polished roles. For women especially, the demands are impossible. Be thinner, but not too thin. Be strong, but still soft. Be independent, but never intimidating. Be everything all at once. When the world shouts these lies long enough, they begin to seep into your skin. You might start believing that until you fix yourself, reshape yourself, or achieve more, you do not deserve love. Every flaw becomes proof that you are failing. Every imperfection feels like disqualification. But here's the truth. Society never tells you. These standards are designed to keep people chasing, always striving, but never arriving. They are illusions. Your worth cannot be measured by a mirror, a job title, a bank account, or a relationship status. Love is not a prize for perfection. It is not something granted only to those who check all the boxes. It is not given because you are flawless. It is given because you are human. The lies of society are loud, but the truth is quiet, steady, and unshakable. You are worthy of love exactly as you are, even in the mess, even in the imperfection. Trauma that leaves invisible scars. Sometimes the root of feeling undeserving of love is not simply belief or comparison, but trauma itself. Trauma leaves scars that are not visible to the eye, but deeply felt in the heart and body. It changes how you experience closeness, how you respond to affection, and how you trust others. Abuse, betrayal, neglect, or abandonment carve deep patterns into the nervous system. Instead of love feeling safe, it becomes confusing, even threatening. Affection might trigger memories of harm. Trust might feel like opening a door only to be hurt again. And so, to protect yourself, you keep love at a distance. You may even convince yourself you are not worthy of it because believing that feels safer than risking the pain of losing it. This is not weakness. This is survival. Your mind and body remember the danger and create barriers to keep you safe. But what once protected you can become a prison. The walls that guard your heart also block the tenderness you long for. Trauma teaches you to doubt love, but it does not erase your worthiness of it. Healing requires patience, compassion, and often guidance. The scars will not disappear overnight, but with care they can transform from barriers into reminders of strength. You survived what once broke you, and survival itself is proof that you are not too damaged to be loved. You are living proof of resilience. The cycle of comparison. One of the quietest thieves of worth is comparison. It doesn't arrive with loud accusations, but with subtle glances at the lives of others. You scroll through social media and see couples posting perfect photos, families laughing in highlight reels, friends showered with affection. Without realizing it, you begin to measure yourself against an illusion. Comparison convinces you that love is something other people are naturally built for, while you are somehow left out. Their smiles look brighter, their connections seem deeper, their lives appear effortless, and in contrast, your own imperfections feel heavier. Every shortcoming you see in yourself becomes evidence that you don't belong in the same category. But comparison is a trick. What you are looking at is not the full truth, only fragments chosen to be displayed. Behind every filtered image, there are struggles, unseen, doubts unspoken, and wounds carefully hidden. When you compare your raw, unfiltered reality with someone else's polished surface, you will always feel like you come up short. This cycle is dangerous because it keeps you chasing an impossible standard. The more you compare, the more you believe you're unworthy, and the more you withdraw from love. It becomes a self-fulfilling loop. The less you believe in your own value, the harder it is to receive affection when it comes. The truth is, love does not follow rankings. It is not reserved for the most beautiful, the most successful, or the most perfect. Love is not a competition. It is a human need freely given and freely received. And the cycle of comparison can only be broken when you choose to see yourself as worthy, without measuring against anyone else's story. The fear of being truly seen. Love is not just about receiving affection. It is about allowing yourself to be seen. And for many, this is the most terrifying part. If you carry the belief that you are too broken, too complicated, or too flawed, the thought of letting someone see all of you feels unbearable. This fear shows up quietly. When someone gets close, you change the subject. When they offer affection, you brush it off with a laugh. When they ask how you really feel, you answer with something safe and shallow. It is not that you don't want love, it is that being truly known feels like exposure. The fear comes from the belief that if someone sees the parts you hide, they will walk away. Rejection feels inevitable, so you protect yourself by staying guarded. The shield becomes your safety, but the tragedy is that the same shield also blocks the intimacy you long for. Love cannot enter a heart that is locked shut. Being truly seen requires vulnerability, and vulnerability is risky, but it is also the only soil in which real love grows. Without it, affection remains shallow, connection remains distant, and you remain unseen even while longing to be found. The path forward is not about tearing down all your walls at once, but about slowly opening them with people who have shown themselves to be safe. Bit by bit, letting yourself be seen. Because the truth is, your flaws do not make you unlovable, they make you human. And being human is the very reason you are worthy of love. The cost of living unloved by yourself. At the deepest level, the belief that you don't deserve love often mirrors the way you treat yourself. If you consistently neglect your own needs, dismiss your feelings, and silence your pain, it becomes natural to assume that others should do the same. Love offered from the outside feels undeserved because it doesn't match the way you relate to yourself on the inside. Think of it like a garden. If you never water it, the soil becomes dry, the roots weaken, and flowers wither. Even if rain eventually comes, the ground is so hardened that it struggles to absorb the nourishment. In the same way, if you do not show yourself compassion, kindness, and patience, the love others try to give you cannot sink in. It bounces off, leaving you convinced that affection was never meant for you. Living unloved by yourself also comes with invisible costs. You may tolerate relationships where you are treated poorly because you don't believe you deserve better. You may shrink from opportunities, silence your voice, or settle for less than you long for. Over time, this shapes not only your relationships, but also your entire life path. Self-love is not about arrogance or selfishness. It is about acknowledging your humanity and honoring your own existence. It is about saying, I am worthy of care even from myself. When you begin to treat yourself with the same compassion you offer to others, something shifts. The love you give yourself softens the ground, making space for the love of others to finally take root, breaking the illusion. For so long, you may have believed that love must be earned through achievement, through perfection, through endless sacrifice. This belief feels solid, as if it were a law of nature, but it is only an illusion, one that has stolen your peace and distorted your truth. The reality is simple love was never meant to be a prize. It was never supposed to be something you win. After proving yourself worthy, love is not a reward. It is a birthright. You are born deserving of it, not because of what you've done, but because of who you are, a living, breathing human being with inherent value. Imagine standing in the sunlight. The sun does not pause to ask if you deserve its warmth. It does not measure your flaws or keep a score of your mistakes. It shines because shining is what it does. Love is the same. It is not something you must chase or beg for. It is something that exists for you simply because you are here. Breaking the illusion means unlearning the lies that have shaped your story. It means recognizing that the conditions placed on love were never about your worth, but about the limitations of those who taught them. It means daring to believe that nothing you have done, nothing you regret, and nothing you fear can erase your right to be loved. When this illusion breaks, even slightly, the ground beneath you begins to shift. You start to see that love is not waiting for you to become perfect. It is waiting for you to open your heart and let it in. Steps toward healing. Awareness alone is not enough. To move from feeling unworthy of love toward actually receiving it, you need steps that slowly rewrite the story inside you. Healing is not quick, and it is rarely easy, but it is possible. The first step is awareness. Begin noticing when you pull back from affection, when you dismiss praise, or when you sabotage relationships. These are not random behaviors. They are signs of the old belief still at work. Simply recognizing them loosens their power. The second step is self-compassion. Speak to yourself the way you would speak to a child who is hurting or a friend who is struggling. Replace the harsh inner critic with a voice that says, "You are doing your best. You are allowed to rest. You are worthy of care." These are not empty words. They are medicine for a weary soul. The third step is small acts of self-care. This is not about luxury, but about reminding yourself daily that your well-being matters. Rest when you are tired. Nourish your body. Allow yourself joy even in simple ways. Each act is a statement I am worth caring for. The fourth step is connection. Healing cannot always happen in isolation. Surround yourself with people who reflect your value back to you, who remind you of your worth when you forget. This could be friends, supportive communities, or professional guidance like therapy. Safe relationships help rewrite the inner script. The fifth step is patience. Healing takes time. Some days will feel like progress. Others will feel like falling back into old patterns. Both are part of the journey. What matters is consistency, not perfection. With every step, you begin to soften the walls around your heart. And as those walls crumble, you create the space for love to finally come in, not as something you earn, but as something you were always meant to receive. Choosing love anyway. Even with awareness and healing, the feeling of unworthiness may never disappear entirely. The scars of the past can still whisper doubts, but worthiness is not about silencing every fear. It is about choosing love in spite of them. Choosing love anyway means daring to open your heart even when it feels risky. It means allowing kindness to land without brushing it away. It means letting someone stay close even when your instinct is to push them aside. Every act of acceptance, no matter how small, becomes an act of courage. This choice is not about denying your pain or pretending your wounds don't exist. It is about deciding that your pain will not be the final author of your story. It is about choosing to believe that tenderness belongs to you as much as it belongs to anyone else. When you choose love anyway, you stop waiting for the perfect moment. When you finally feel enough, that moment may never arrive, because the old voice may always try to tell you otherwise. But love is not waiting for perfection. Love is waiting for presence. It is waiting for you to say yes, even trembling, even uncertain, even scarred. And here lies the truth. The more you choose to let love in, the stronger your belief in your own worth becomes. Love does not erase the wounds, but it softens them. It teaches you over and over that you are never too broken, never too flawed, never too unworthy. You are always human, and being human has always been enough. You may have carried the weight of unworthiness for years, perhaps most of your life. It may have come from childhood wounds, inherited patterns, mistakes, shame, or the relentless lies of society. But no matter its origin, it has never been the truth about you. The truth is simple, yet powerful. You are worthy of love, not because of what you achieve, not because of how perfectly you perform, but because you exist. Your scars, your struggles, your imperfections, none of them cancel that worth. They only make you human. And being human is enough. Every time you speak to yourself with compassion, every time you allow kindness in without pushing it away, every time you choose connection instead of isolation, you take back what the old wounds tried to steal. You begin to see that love was never meant to be earned. It has always been waiting for you to open your heart and receive it. So let today be a turning point. Let it be the moment you begin to soften the harsh mirror, to break the cycle of comparison, to trust that being seen will not destroy you. Let it be the moment you finally whisper to yourself, I am worthy. If this message resonates with you, share your feelings in the comments below. Your story might be the very light someone else needs to take their first step toward healing. And as always, because the YouTube algorithm usually promotes videos with high engagement, if you feel this video brought value to you, a simple like and a quick subscription will make a huge difference. It not only helps this content reach more people who need it, but also ensures that you never miss the next video that could make a difference in your journey. Thank you, everyone.